My sister hauled 5 strangers into my mansion screaming, "Don't be worthless for once." My parents shouted. You ever have that gut-wrenching moment where you realize your family isn't just taking advantage, they're actively betraying you? I did. It happened the moment I saw 5 strangers, total unknowns, standing with my parents and sister at the airport, all expecting a free ride on my dime. What happened next wasn't just a trip, it was a war, and I was ready for battle. Hey, everyone, Mark here. So, before I dive into the absolute nightmare my family cooked up, let me give you a quick intro. I'm 32, work in consulting, and yeah, I make decent money. Apparently, that makes me the family ATM, a label I was about to shed permanently. My mom called me one Tuesday afternoon. You know that sugary sweet voice parents use when they want something? That one. Your father and I are celebrating our 30th anniversary, she cooed. Wouldn't it be lovely if we all went to Cabo? I was already mentally calculating hotel points, flight schedules, the whole 9 yards. Sounds great, Mom. When are you thinking? Late October a week. Just the 4 of us. You, me, your father, and Tatum. Like old times. That, right there, should have been my first major red flag. My family doesn't do simple. But I was feeling generous. My firm had just landed a huge contract. Bonus was fat in the bank. Plus, 30 years of marriage? That's worth celebrating, even if my parents had spent 20 of those years teaching my sister Tatum and me that boundaries were just polite suggestions. So I told her, I'll book us a private rental. For bedrooms, ocean view. You guys handle your own flights, though. I'm not playing travel agent for everyone. Mom, ever the charmer, said, "Oh, honey, that's too generous. You don't have to pay for accommodation." My response? I want to. It's your anniversary. Just promise me this stays small. Family only, of course. Just us. Just us, that was the promise. A promise that was about to be obliterated. The place I found was perfect. Not some billionaire mansion, but a gorgeous oceanfront spot with an infinity pool for suites, one for each of us, and enough space to breathe. 10 minutes to the beach, the kind of place you actually relax in, not fight over the thermostat. It cost me $8,000 for the week. The rental contract was crystal clear. Max occupancy 8 guests, names required 48 hours before check-in. Violations? Immediate eviction, deposit gone, full week charges. No exceptions. It was in a gated community, too, with security and a hotline for noise complaints. 1 strike, you're out. I read every single word twice before I signed. I sent all the details to the family group chat. Dad hit me with a thumbs up. Tatum, predictably, sent a string of exclamation points and 3 taco emojis. Mom wrote a whole paragraph about how grateful she was, how special this trip would be. Then she added, "I already told your aunt about it. She's so jealous." My stomach instantly tightened. Why would you tell her? Oh, just chatting. You know how she is. Always wants to know what we're doing. I let it go. Big mistake. 2 weeks out, Tatum called. That weird, overly casual tone in her voice? It always meant she was about to ask for something insane. So, funny story. Turns out Kay and Dax were already planning to be in Cabo that same week. Small world, right? Kay was her old college roommate. Dax her flavor-of-the-month boyfriend who wore basketball jerseys to weddings and thought craft beer was a personality. Huh, that is a funny coincidence, I said, knowing exactly where this was going. Yeah, so they booked this little Airbnb in town, super cheap, but we'll probably hang out, maybe hit the beach together or whatever. I wasn't born yesterday. That Airbnb was going to magically fall through or be a dump, and then, oh no, they need a place to crash just for 1 night, maybe 2. Before I knew it, Dax would be chugging my soda, and Kay would be hogging my bathroom for her 3-hour morning routine. But I didn't say any of that. I just made a mental note. Submit the guest list to the property manager immediately. For names. No additions. 3 days before the trip, Mom called again. Slight change of plans, she chirped. Tatum's friend group wanted to make a whole thing of it. Supporting our anniversary, isn't that sweet? I already mentioned to them you got us that gorgeous private rental. My blood ran cold. How many friends? Just a few. They're booking their own accommodations, of course, but they'll probably join us for dinners and activities. Don't worry, I told everyone you've got it covered. You always do. My jaw clenched so hard I thought it would shatter. Got what covered? I ground out. You know, the planning, the arrangements. You're so good at that. Mom, I said, my voice dangerously low. I paid for a 4-person private rental, not a group vacation. Oh, honey, don't be dramatic. Nobody's expecting you to pay for them. They just want to celebrate with us.
Right.
Celebrate. On my dime. I spent the next 2 days preparing like I was deploying to a war zone. 1 carry-on, 7 days of quick-dry clothes. No checked bags, learned that lesson years ago. 3 backup chargers, downloaded entertainment, printed copies of everything. And then I did something else. Something that would matter, profoundly, very soon. I called the property management company. Hi, this is Mark. I need to confirm the guest list and update security protocols. The manager was efficient. Of course. What do you need? 4 registered guests only. Mark, Franklin, Cynthia, and Tatum. Nobody else gets access codes. If additional people show up claiming to be with our group, deny entry and contact me immediately. Understood. We can flag the reservation. Perfect. Also, can door codes be changed remotely? Yes, through the app. You'll have full control once you check in. I thanked her, hung up. The night before, I did one final check. Max occupancy 8, but I had authorized 4. No parties, no excessive noise, no unauthorized overnight guests. I screenshotted everything. Went to bed feeling prepared. I had no idea what was waiting for me at the airport. Denver International Airport on a Friday during fall break is a special kind of hell. But I'm a seasoned traveler. Arrived at 7 a.m. for a 10:30 flight, smooth parking, TSA pre-check in under 5 minutes. Grabbed a breakfast sandwich, settled in to review client reports. Everything was tracking perfectly. Then I heard it, Tatum's voice, carrying across the terminal like a foghorn. Don't worry, guys. Mark's paying. He always pays. Trust me, once we're there, he'll cave like he always does. My head snapped up. There they were. My parents, looking red and sweaty, fanning themselves with boarding passes, surrounded by a mountain of obviously checked bags. But that wasn't the problem. The problem was the crowd. Mom, Dad, Tatum, that's 3. Then Dax, in his Lakers jersey, even though it was absolutely not basketball season. That's 4. K, glittery tank top. 5. Then the others, a guy with a man bun and full-sleeve tattoos. A blonde girl taking selfies. And another guy wearing wraparound sunglasses inside the airport. 8 people.
8.
For bedrooms, max occupancy 8. But I'd only authorized 4. Contract violation. Security flag. Immediate eviction risk. My breakfast sandwich turned to concrete in my stomach. I walked over. Tatum saw me first. That sickly sweet smile she uses when she knows she's screwed up, but hopes enthusiasm will smooth it over.
Mark.
You made it. Look, everyone's here. The strangers looked at me with vague recognition, like they'd seen my picture on Tatum's phone but couldn't place me. Then, yo, you're Mark?
Sick.
Tatum said I'm getting one of the upstairs rooms because I snore. This Trevor guy chirped, like he'd already reserved it, like I was the front desk. Tegan, the selfie queen, didn't even say hi, just asked if the rental had a blender. Jason, Mr. Wraparound, wanted to know if the fridge was stocked or if we were doing a Costco run on my card. My jaw locked. Who are these people? Tatum quickly stepped between us. This is Trevor, Tegan, and Jason. Friends from work. When they heard about Cabo, they booked flights too. Isn't that crazy? Everyone wanted to celebrate with Mom and Dad. I'm not paying for you to stay anywhere. The group went silent. Trevor's smile faltered.
What?
The private rental is for 4 people. My parents and my sister. That's it. Tatum grabbed my arm. Can we talk alone? We walked 10 feet away. I kept my voice level, but the fury was bubbling. What are you doing? What do you mean? I'm bringing friends to celebrate Mom and Dad. You told them I agreed to this. You told them which rooms they'd have. You told them I'm paying. Because you are. You always do. Not this time. Come on, Mark. Don't be difficult. Everyone's already here. They bought plane tickets. We can squeeze them in for a few nights, then they'll find a hotel or whatever. A few nights. I repeated, incredulous. And when they don't find a hotel, when they decide it's easier and cheaper to stay in my $8,000 private rental for free? She rolled her eyes. You're being paranoid. I'm being realistic. This is exactly what you do, Tatum. You make plans, you don't think through the logistics, and then you expect me to fix it with my credit card. Her face hardened.
Wow.
Tell me how you really feel. I'm telling you this isn't happening. Those three need to book a hotel today. You're unbelievable. This is Mom and Dad's anniversary. Can't you just be cool for once? I'm cool with Mom and Dad. I'm even cool with you bringing Dax and Kay without asking me. But 3 random people from your office? That's where I draw the line. Then what? You're going to kick them off the trip? You're going to make them fly home? I'm going to tell them they need to find their own place to stay because they're not staying in mine? Before Tatum could respond, Dad walked over. His face was already set in that stern, "You're being unreasonable" expression. What's the holdup? I'm explaining that the private rental has occupancy limits and Tatum's friends need to find their own place. Don't be difficult, Mark. We can make it work. No, we can't. The contract is clear. Additional guests mean eviction, and we lose everything. You're successful because of us, Dad said, his voice rising, venom in every word. Your education, your opportunities, everything you have. We made you who you are. My money isn't an investment portfolio you can draw from, Dad. His face went beet red. Everything you have, we gave you. You wouldn't be where you are without us. You gave me a childhood, which is literally the minimum requirement for having kids. That doesn't entitle you to my money 30 years later. Tatum stepped forward. You're being selfish. Everyone's looking. And she was right. Several people at nearby gates were watching, some sympathetic, some just curious. One older woman near the Cinnabon was full-on staring, mouth agape. Good, I snapped. Let them look. Maybe they'll learn something about boundaries. Trevor cleared his throat awkwardly. Hey man, we didn't mean to cause drama. Then maybe you should have booked a hotel like adults instead of assuming someone else would handle it. Dax nodded quickly. Yeah, we can totally just wait here, no problem. But Tatum wasn't backing down. You're really going to walk away? Leave your own mother sitting on the floor? She's not sitting on the floor. There are hundreds of seats right here, and a McDonald's 30 feet away. She'll be fine. Mom appeared, her eyes already welling up with crocodile tears. I don't recognize you anymore. When did you become so cold? I became realistic. There's a difference. We just want to be together as a family. No, you want me to fund a group vacation I didn't agree to. And when I said no, you tried to guilt me with tears and family obligations. That's manipulation, not love. The silence that followed was sharp enough to cut. I adjusted my backpack and started walking toward the lounge. Mark, Dad yelled after me. Get back here. That's an order. I'm not in your chain of command anymore, Dad. I didn't turn around. The walk to the lounge felt like walking through thick water, my heart pounding, not from guilt, but from sheer adrenaline. Every step felt like I was breaking some unspoken family law that said I owed them access to everything I earned. But I kept walking. I pulled out my phone, opened my email, found the property manager's confirmation, and read it one more time. Then I texted her. Change of plans. Only 2 registered guests will be checking in. Mark and 1 other TBD. Please update access codes accordingly. All other names removed from authorization. My phone buzzed within 30 seconds. Understood. Access restricted to your name only. You can add 1 guest on arrival through the app. Updated codes will be active at 3 p.m. local time. Perfect. I made 3 more calls in quick succession. First, I canceled the prearranged group transport, a 15-passenger van my sister had booked under my name without asking. The cancellation fee was $200, but I'd rather eat that cost than coordinate their group arrival. Second, I booked a private car service sedan just for me, direct to the rental. Third, I called my credit card company and put a note on my account. Any charges from Cabo not made by me directly would require verbal authorization. Security flag for the week. The frosted glass doors of the Admiral's Club slid shut behind me with a soft hiss, and the noise of the terminal vanished, replaced by quiet conversations, soft music, the gentle clink of silverware. I got an omelet, found a window seat overlooking the runway, and for the first time all morning, I took a deep, satisfying breath. My phone lit up like a Christmas tree. Mom begging me, Dad calling twice, Tatum blaming me for Dax's dead phone, Dad's ultimatum about being part of this family, Trevor warning me Tatum was losing it. I put the phone on Do Not Disturb. Got actual work done. 3 hours later, I walked out just as they called final boarding. The whole group looked wrecked. Dad, red-faced. Mom, mascara tracks down her cheeks. Tatum, slumped and glaring. The work friends looked like they'd walked into someone else's nightmare. Tatum's eyes went wide when she saw me, then narrowed. Well, look who decided to show up. I scanned my boarding pass. The agent smiled. Enjoy your flight. I walked down the jet bridge. Behind me, Tatum's voice hit a pitch only dogs should hear. He was in that lounge the whole time. 3 hours. While we sat on the floor. There were plenty of seats, I thought, but I kept walking. The flight attendant greeted me at the aircraft door. Welcome aboard. You're in 2A today. I'd upgraded to first class 6 weeks ago when I booked, an extra $300, but so worth it to avoid the middle seat food fight that was about to happen in the back. I settled in. Wide seats, real cushions, actual legroom. A few minutes later, I heard voices right behind me. Wait, you're up here?
Dax.
He was gaping at me. Behind him, I could see my parents and Tatum shuffling toward their seats in the back. Tatum pushed past Dax. You've got to be kidding me. You're in first class. Yes. While we're crammed back there in basic economy? You booked basic economy. I booked first class. That's how plane tickets work. Mom appeared, her face a mix of hurt and disbelief. Mark, honey, couldn't you switch with one of us just for the flight?
No.
Why not? Because I paid extra for this seat. If you wanted first class, you should have booked first class. We couldn't afford first class. Then you belong in economy. But we're family, Dad's voice boomed from further back. Family doesn't hoard comfort while others suffer. Family doesn't ambush each other at airports with uninvited guests either. But here we are. The flight attendant, diplomatic but firm, appeared. Excuse me. We need to keep the aisle clear for boarding. Tatum leaned in close, whispered. You're going to regret this. All of it? Probably not. The flight attendant gently ushered them back. Tatum shot me one last glare. Mom followed, shoulders slumped, looking like she was being led to an execution.
Dad didn't even look at me.
I put my noise-canceling headphones on. Opened my book. The flight was peaceful. Warm nuts, real silverware, grilled salmon. For 3 hours, I was completely removed from the drama playing out 15 rows behind me. When we landed in San Jose del Cabo, I waited for first class to deplane, grabbed my carry-on, and walked off without looking back. Immigration was quick. Global entry. 5 minutes. By the time I was outside, standing in the warm Mexican afternoon air, I felt genuinely good. Then I turned on my phone. 23 new messages. Tatum, we've been waiting at baggage claim for 45 minutes. Where are you? Dad. The rental car place closes at 8 o'clock. We need to move now. Mom. Mark, please answer. We're all very tired and confused. Trevor. Yo, man, where'd you go? I checked the time. 2:45 p.m. My private car was waiting. Black sedan. Driver holding a sign with my name. I texted back. I have my own transport. See you at the private rental. Tatum. What? Dad. You get back here right now.
Me?
I walked to the car. The driver took my bag, opened the door. I slid into the back seat, and we drove off into the afternoon sun. My phone kept buzzing. I turned it off. The private rental was somehow even better in person. White stucco, tile roof, a courtyard with a fountain. Floor-to-ceiling ocean views. The infinity pool glowed blue. I used the lockbox code the property manager had sent, let myself in. The place smelled like fresh linens and ocean air. Master bedroom, king bed, private balcony, rainfall shower. I unpacked, took a long shower, put on clean clothes, raided the fridge for a sandwich. I was sitting on the pool deck, eating dinner in peace as the sun set, when my phone buzzed. Property manager text. A group of 8 people just arrived at the gate claiming to be with your reservation. They don't have the access code and are becoming agitated. Security is requesting guidance. I typed back, only I am authorized for entry. Do not provide codes to anyone else. If they continue causing issues, remove them from the property. Manager. Understood. Should I offer them contact information for local hotels? Me. That would be generous of you. Manager. Security texted me they'd started filming because one of the group was calling the guard a power-tripping mall cop and trying to slip cash through the window like it was a nightclub. Also, it's peak wedding season. Most hotels within 30 minutes are fully booked. The few with availability are charging premium rates or are quite far from the resort area. Me. Not my problem to solve. I set my phone down, took another bite of my sandwich. The ocean was dark and peaceful. Stars overhead. Warm breeze. 20 minutes later, my phone rang.
Tatum.
I answered on speaker. What the heck did you do?
I ate dinner.
How was your flight? The villa won't let us in. Security is here. They're threatening to call the police. That's unfortunate. Fix this. There's nothing to fix. The private rental has occupancy rules. You brought unauthorized guests. I protected the reservation. You locked us out. I enforced the rental agreement. Big difference. Mom's voice, crying in the background. Please, Mark.
Please.
We're stranded. You're not stranded. You're in Mexico. There are hotels everywhere. Everything's booked. It's some wedding convention weekend. The closest room is 40 minutes away and costs $400 a night. Should have planned ahead. We don't have money for that. Dad roared. You knew that. Then maybe you shouldn't have flown here without a plan. This is insane. Tatum screamed. You're leaving us on the street. You're at a gated private rental in a resort community. There's a hotel concierge 50 yards from where you're standing. I'm sure they'll help you find accommodation. I'll never forgive you for this. Never. Okay. I hung up. 5 minutes later, another call.
Dad's phone.
I let it ring. Text from Mom. I'm begging you. Just let us in for tonight. We'll figure out tomorrow. Then, no, you're not the son I raised. My reply to myself? Asterisk, the son you raised didn't have boundaries. He's gone. Asterisk, the texts kept coming for another hour. Threats, guilt, bargaining, crying voice memos from Mom. A video from Tatum showing the group standing outside the gate, looking pathetic. I blocked all their numbers. Around 11 p.m., the property manager texted again. Family has left the property. Security escorted them to the main gate. They eventually split up. Your parents found a room at a hotel 20 minutes inland. The others are at different locations. Also asked me to tell you various colorful things. Would you like me to forward the security footage? I responded. Email it to me, please. Documentation purposes. Manager, sent. Enjoy your stay. I slept like a baby that night. King bed, ocean breeze, complete silence. Best sleep I'd had in months. The next morning, chaos in my inbox. Tatum had found a computer and written me a novel, 5,000 words detailing every way I was a terrible person, how I'd humiliated them, traumatized Mom, destroyed the family, made them sleep in rat-infested rooms because that's all they could afford at midnight. I saved it, screenshotted it, added it to the folder. I had a folder now. Documentation, screenshots of the group chat, photos of the rental contract, copies of the property manager's messages, the security footage of them trying to get in, everything timestamped and organized, just in case. I spent the morning exactly how I'd planned. Coffee on the balcony, swim in the infinity pool, breakfast of fresh fruit and eggs I cooked in the pristine kitchen. Around 10, a text from an unknown number. Bro, this is on you. We're not hostile people. Fix it. There were bed bugs, Jason. That's terrible. You should leave a bad review. Unknown. You said there was room at the private rental. I said no such thing. Tatum said that without asking me. Unknown. We flew to Mexico. So did I. Difference? I planned ahead. He sent back a string of angry words. I blocked the number. An hour later, another unknown.
Tegan. Hi, Mark.
This is Tegan. We can totally pay you back. I just need you to spot it for now. Can we please talk like adults? We need somewhere to stay and hotels are expensive. You needed somewhere to stay before you got on the plane. That was the time to book a hotel. Can't we work something out? No, you won't pay me back. How do you know? Because people who plan to pay back money don't show up empty-handed hoping for charity. She didn't respond. I spent the afternoon scuba diving, 2 tanks on a pristine reef, saw sea turtles, and a nurse shark. No family drama, no guilt trips. Just peace. When I got back around 3, another text.
Dad.
Mark, this behavior ends now. You will call the property manager and authorize all of us for entry. You will apologize to your mother. You will make this right. We are your family. We deserve respect and accommodation. Everything you have is because of us. Your education, your opportunities, your success. We made you who you are. You have until 6 p.m. to fix this. If you don't, there will be consequences. I stared at the message. Then I hit reply. Dad, everything I have is because I worked for it. You provided housing and food until I was 18, which is the legal requirement for parents. I paid for college with scholarships and loans. I paid for grad school. I built my career. The private rental is in my name. I paid for it. I set the occupancy rules. Those rules stand. You have until 6 p.m. to accept reality. If you don't, there will be continued disappointment. Mark. I hit send. At 5:47 p.m., my phone rang.
Mom.
I answered. She was crying. Full, incoherent sobs. I waited. Finally. How could you do this to me on my anniversary? I paid for your anniversary, Mom. You're the one who invited a crowd. We just wanted everyone to celebrate together. No. Tatum wanted to turn my gift into a group vacation, and you enabled her. You're so cruel. I'm consistent. There's a difference. If you don't let us in, I'll never speak to you again. That's your choice, but it won't change my decision. She hung up. Then I made myself dinner. Pan-seared mahi-mahi, grilled vegetables, glass of sparkling water on the terrace. The sunset was spectacular. I spent the next 5 days exactly as I'd planned. Diving, reading long dinners, morning swims, afternoon naps. 0 family contact. My phone stayed mostly quiet. I'd blocked everyone's regular numbers, and the few attempts from new numbers were easy to spot and ignore. On day 3, I got an alert from my credit card company. Unusual activity detected. Authorization required. We've detected attempted charges totaling $7,200 from Hotel Pia Grande, San Jose del Cabo, Mexico. These charges were flagged based on your recent security note. Please confirm. Did you authorize 4 rooms for 3 nights? Did you provide your card information to Tatum? My stomach went cold, then hot. I called the fraud department immediately. The rep was professional. The hotel said a family member called to book rooms using your card information. When we asked for verification based on your security flag, the caller hung up. Who called? The hotel said it was a woman who identified herself as your sister. She had your card number, expiration, and billing address. I closed my eyes. Tatum had borrowed my card 2 years ago for a family dinner. I'd sent her the details via text. She must have saved them. That was not authorized. Those charges should be permanently declined and flagged as fraudulent. Understood. Would you like a new card number? Yes, immediately. Can you provide documentation of this attempted fraud? Of course. I'll email you the incident report. 20 minutes later, it arrived. I created a new folder. Legal documentation. I then texted the property manager. Did my family attempt to book rooms at Hotel Pia Grande using my name? Manager. I can check. Yes. The hotel contacted us because the guest mentioned staying at our private rental. We told them we couldn't comment. The booking attempt failed anyway. Me. Thank you. Please document that conversation. Manager. Already done. Sent you a copy. That evening, another unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. Mark. Tatum. Her voice was different.
Shaky.
How did you get this number? Borrowed someone's phone. Look, I'm sorry about the card thing. I just thought. You thought you'd commit fraud. It wasn't fraud. We're family. You used my card information without permission to attempt a charge. I explicitly declined. That's textbook credit card fraud. I was desperate. You left us with nowhere to go. You had the entire internet to find hotels. You chose to try stealing from me instead. I wasn't stealing. I was going to pay you back. With what money, Tatum? You just said you're broke. Silence. Here's what's going to happen, I said, my voice flat. I've documented everything. The fraud attempt, the incident report, the timestamps. If you ever use my information again for anything, I'll file a police report. You wouldn't. Try me. I hung up, added the call details to the folder. Sunday morning. I packed, did a final walkthrough.
Pristine.
No damage, no missing items, no evidence of the chaos that could have been. The property manager arrived at 11 sharp. We walked through. Perfect stay. Your deposit will be refunded in full. Thank you for everything, especially your help with the unauthorized guests. She smiled knowingly. We see it all the time. Family members who think rules don't apply to them. You did the right thing enforcing boundaries. She paused. Actually, there's one more thing. After your family left, security found damage to the side gate lock. They attempted forced entry around 10:15 p.m. the first night. We have footage. She showed me the video. Dad, using a rock against the lock mechanism. Tatum pulling on the gate. Timestamp, 10:17 p.m. Repair cost is $800. I can bill it to the card on file or bill it to yours. I'll handle recovering it from my father. Are you sure?
Yes.
I want to maintain a good relationship with your company. Send me the invoice with the video evidence. I'll take care of the rest. Understood. The drive to the airport was peaceful. I returned the rental, checked in, through security, found a quiet cafe. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. Mark. Tatum. Her voice was different. Smaller. How'd you get this number? Mom called your office. Of course she did. Silence. We're at the airport. Flying home today. Okay. That's it? Just okay? What do you want me to say? That you're sorry? That you regret ruining everything? I don't. How can you not? Mom hasn't stopped crying. Dad won't speak to anyone. This was supposed to be special. It was special for me. I had a great week alone. You spent your vacation alone. Best vacation I've ever had. Asterisk, asterisk, you're sick. I'm healthy. And I'm done being your ATM. Nobody asked you to be an ATM, Tatum. You brought 5 people to a 4-person private rental without asking. You told them I'd cover everything. You ambushed me at the airport. You tried to commit credit card fraud. That's exactly treating me like an ATM. Long silence. We're family. Family asks. Family respects. Family doesn't lie and manipulate and steal. I wasn't stealing. I'm hanging up now. I ended the call. Blocked that number too. My flight home was uneventful. First class again. Good meal.
Decent movie.
Slept for most of it. Landed in Denver. 3 voicemails. Deleted them without listening. 2 weeks later, the real consequences started rolling in. First, the property damage invoice. The property manager emailed me a copy of what I'd paid. Property damage claim, Villa Rosa. Responsible party, Franklin, Dad. Damage. Forced entry attempt on South Gate access panel. Repair cost $800. Evidence. Security footage attached. Paid by Mark, reservation holder. I saved it to the folder. 3 days later, Dad called from a new number. I answered out of curiosity. You paid $800 for a gate lock? I did, and you're going to reimburse me. Oh, that was your fault. You locked us out. I enforced the rental agreement. You attempted to break in. Cause and effect. We're not paying this. Then I'll see you in small claims court. You smug little. I hung up. But that wasn't the end of it. I'd spent 2 weeks thinking about the fraud attempt, the canceled van, the chaos, the complete disregard for boundaries. And I realized something. If I didn't draw a legal line, they'd try again. Different trip, different scheme, same entitlement. I ran it past an attorney buddy, used a process server so no one could play games with. We never got the papers. I opened my laptop and started drafting. Small claims filing. Mark versus Tatum and Franklin. Case summary. Defendant Tatum fraudulently attempted to charge $7,200 to plaintiff's credit card. Plaintiff seeks recovery for documented damages. Defendant Franklin damaged third-party property, resulting in $800 repair costs paid by plaintiff. Defendants collectively caused plaintiff to incur $200 in cancellation fees. Total damages claimed, $1,125. Filing fee $75, court costs $50. Total claim, $1,250. I attached everything. Screenshots of texts, the fraud incident report, the van cancellation confirmation, the property damage invoice, the property manager's emails, the security footage. Filed it through my county's online portal, had them served the boring, official way. Cost me $125. Best money I ever spent. The court summons arrived at my parents' house 3 weeks later. I know because Tatum called from yet another new number, screaming, "You're suing us?" I filed a claim for documented damages, yes. Over $1,000. Are you insane? It's $1,250 plus court costs. And no, I'm very sane. You committed fraud. Dad destroyed property. Actions have consequences. This is going on your permanent record. People will know you sued your own family.
Good.
Maybe it'll warn the next person you try to scam. We're going to fight this.
Great.
Bring your evidence to court. I'll bring mine. She hung up. They didn't fight it. They didn't show up. I won by default judgment. The court awarded me $1,250 plus interest. The judgment became public record. It would sit on their credit reports. If they didn't pay within 90 days, I could request wage garnishment. I didn't need the money, but I needed the principal. The message was simple. I'm done. 6 months passed. Quiet. Peaceful. I took 4 more trips. Iceland, Japan, New Zealand, Peru. Each one perfectly planned. No surprises, no drama, no group bills. Then one day, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Just 3 words. We miss you. I knew it was Mom. The grammar was too correct to be Tatum.
I stared at it for a long time.
Then I typed back. You miss my money. There's a difference. I blocked that number, too. So, that's my story. It was a brutal week, but honestly, it was the best vacation I've ever had because I finally stood up for myself. I still wonder sometimes if I went too far, or if I did the only thing I could. What do you think? Have you ever had to draw such a hard line with family or deal with this kind of entitlement? Let me know in the comments below. I'd really love to hear your experiences.